What's going on, guys? Wanted to talk to you all about something that most YouTubers or other people don't really go into detail. You know, why they're doing what they're doing. You know, I'm working towards becoming more self-sufficient, self-reliant. But why? Or like some of these people are going off-grid or prepping or any of these things in these categories. You know, if you all have watched my other videos, you've heard me say that they're similar but they're different. You know, but nobody really goes into detail why they're doing what they're doing. So it's such a wide topic, you know, and I just want to talk to you all about it. You know, it's something that should be talked about. You know, the way our country is set up, food and regulations and things, the system is set up and designed for you not to be self-sufficient. They want you reliant on them putting it in front of you for one reason: they can tax it. If you grow your own garden, raise your own livestock, you know, chickens, rabbits, whatever it is, if you collect your own water, they're losing all this money. They're losing all these taxes. And you know, in so many states now, it's illegal to go off grid because they want you hooked up to electric. They want you hooked up to the water. If you're in the city, they want you hooked up to local sewage systems. You know, they want you to do these things because they have control over you. See, when you're in the norm, they've got you. You're in control. They're in control. Okay? When you live outside of this norm, they don't like that because they don't have control of you. See, what we're supposed to have is a government for the people, by the Constitution. But the problem with that is the Constitution was written so long ago by people that don't have the regulations that we have now, that it doesn't make sense. You know, when you take people, okay, just for an example, your property is taxed every year. You pay property taxes. You pay vehicle taxes every year. Okay, if you take that same thing and put it back in time to them, you're going to tax their property, which never happened. Then you're going to tax their horses or their carriages, their buggies. No, that would never stand. So why would it not stand back then, but it stands now with the same Constitution? It doesn't make sense. So they allowed the Constitution to stay the same so they have more control over the system. You see how that works? And they make more and more money. You know, the rich and the politicians, okay? So this is going to be a little bit of a video because it's such a wide subject that, you know, so many things go into this that it's not just a simple decision. Oh, I want to be self-sufficient, or I want to move off grid, you know, to get away from society. It's not that simple. There's so many things behind it that you have to understand why people are doing it. Okay, it's a movement that's starting to get going. You know, people moving off grid, homesteading, and all these things, and prepping for, you know, the preppers. This is the thing with preppers. They see in the future that something's coming, and that's what they're doing. They're getting ready for whenever that happens, they can make it, or at least try to make it, you know. But for the people, you know, whether it happens or not, I would rather go ahead now, start that process, because it's easier if you do it now while the infrastructure is still there to support you. You can ease into that and build yourself up. So if anything ever does happen, you're already ready. You've already got, you know, your solar panels or your wind turbines or your battery banks. You've already got that stuff set up. You've already got your appliances for that system already set up. You already grow your own crops. You have some way of storing it, whether it's in, you know, solar powered deep freeze, a cellar, or any of these things. You know, you have ways of storing your food and doing different things. That way you are prepared for whatever happens already. So you take that control away from the government and give it back to yourself. Okay? So the reason I'm doing this is this country is run by the rich people. I'm a poor person, so I have no control. You may think you do, but you don't. You have no control of if they raise the gas prices, or if they go to war to change the gas prices, which they do, or if they change some regulation in agriculture and the price goes up, or transportation, or if they tax increases. You know, one prime example is when gas got up to, in my area, when gas got up, you know, over $4 a gallon, food prices jumped. Okay, when gas came back down, food stayed the same. Okay, so if the market for gas comes down, food should go down with it. Never happened. You know, it has slowly over the years dropped back down a little bit, because they see, this is how they work. They raise it $1 and they'll give you 20 cents back off when the price drops down, just so you think that the price went down. And they'll slowly do that. That turns more money, profit, to them. Or like, this is a better example. If a gas station buys 5,000 gallons of fuel, let's just say at $2 a gallon, okay? So that's $10,000. If the price of gas jumps up $1 on them, okay? Now they're going to sell that fuel that they paid $10,000 for more money, and then go on from there selling for more money because the price of that fuel went up. Okay, but shouldn't they sell that 10,000 gallons for the same price until they get to that point that they run out and fill up their tanks with that new price, and then raise the price? Yes, they should. That would be right. But they don't. They gouge it up and they make more money. See, they made an extra whatever, $5,000 off of that than they would have. Okay, so the reasoning behind this self-sustainability and growing your own garden, first of all, self-sustainability is, you know, providing your own water source. If you need electric, providing your own electric source. If you don't, great. Providing your own food, you know, because what's happening is they don't grow enough food. There's so much agriculture that's polluting everything, water systems, the ocean, everything. Everything's tied together, okay? And there's not enough production to feed us all, because we're so dependent on them putting it out there in front of us that there's no way they can keep up. You know, so, you know, with prices going higher and them finding different ways, genetically modifying GMOs, food to produce faster, or shooting hormones in chickens, or raising what they call, I can't remember the name, they're feeder chickens, I can't remember, or meat chickens, that grow, you know, so much faster to produce more meat at a faster pace to keep up with us, that they keep them in these little chicken warehouses, or whatever you would call them. I mean, it's crazy to me. When 1 acre of land will feed a family of 4, you know, and I find it so funny that, you know, just a little bit of videos that I have done, you know, a little bit on gardening, people say, I don't have time for that. I wish I had the patience for that. How can you not have the patience? It takes, with offset of planting, you know, which doesn't take that much. I can get all my planting done in a day. But through the growing season, I'm spending maybe 20 minutes a week out there. You know, have to be out there. I spend more time than that because I enjoy being in the garden, but, you know, have to be there to take care of it 20 minutes a week. You know, that's nothing. Just to grow your own food and save. Not only are you eating stuff that you know where it came from and what's in it, but you don't have to pay for it. You put the seed in the ground, that's it. You're done. You don't have to pay for any more of that food. Doesn't that make sense? You know, if all of us started You don't have to raise an acre. If you just raised a quarter of an acre of food and subsidize some of your food with that, how much better our agriculture and everything in the United States would be, or worldwide. We could feed everyone if we took the grain that they fed cattle in the United States alone and just took that into food production. We could feed everyone in the world. Okay, so if we start doing that, if we grow our own foods and start taking care of our own selves and growing our own poultry, our own pigs, or if you can just take that stuff out completely and don't even need it. Me, of course, I gotta have some kind of meat, whether it's deer meat, chicken, or rabbit, but you can do all those things yourself. You don't have to rely on somebody else. If you can do those things, how much better the environment and everything would be. Because so much of our environment, the government keeps pushing CO2. A lot of our problems are agriculture, cattle. Nobody says it because they can't say it, because there's so much risk involved, because there's money. Everything in this country is so involved with money, politics and everything. You're never going to see this guy up there as president or congressman or anything, because I don't have any money to be up there. They want somebody that has money to begin with, that knows how the system works, that they can corrupt to do what they want. They don't want somebody up there that's going to go, agriculture needs to change right now. Things in this country need to change. They're not going to do that. They want the guy to go up there and go, there's nothing wrong. We're all good. It's crazy. It blows me away. But that's the reasoning behind becoming more self-sufficient, is the government doesn't have control of my electric, my water, my food. You're limiting what they're allowed to control, yourself. It's the only way that one person can stand up and tell the government, no, I'm not going to conform to your society of paying you for everything, that you're a tyranny and not a republic of the people. It's the only way you can stand up and say, no, it's not going to happen. I'm going to do my own thing. Well, it's the only thing you can do right now, because they're already stopping people from collecting rain, because it's public, or it's government property, and they're already keeping people from disconnecting from the grid because they want them hooked to that. So that's illegal. It's illegal to move off grid on your own property. Okay, and this is just poor man thinking out loud here. I'm sure before too long it's going to be illegal to grow your own garden, because they're going to say it's unsafe, because they don't know what kind of stuff you're putting in it, or it may harm yourself. It's a possibility. If they can tell you can't collect rainwater, when's it going to stop? So these are my things, and there's so much more. There's so much more stuff that I know, and I don't even research into it. That's just things that I know, and we're just so dependent on this system that is collapsing that it's not even funny. And so many Americans are just like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Remove your blinder and look around you. It's pretty easy. I'm a person of observation. When I look around at things and study things, it's pretty easy to tell where everything's going. And when our country broke away from Britain, our Revolutionary War, it was over taxes of 3% on goods. Okay, now we're getting taxed like, I'm not gonna say any number specific because I can't remember. probably 8 or 9%, but we're also being taxed when we're working on our vehicles, our land, any purchase that we make. It's just, we're being taxed upon taxed upon taxed. You know, if you're going to tax, say there's a factory producing something, they're going to tax that factory from selling it. They're going to tax that buyer from buying it. In between transporting it to the store, they're going to tax that guy, his pay to get there, his gas to get there, his truck to get there. Then when it gets in the store, they're going to tax the store for buying it. When the store sells it, they're going to tax you for it. The money you get to pay for it, they're going to tax that. Your gas to get home, they're going to tax that. When you get home, they're going to tax your home every year. I mean, it's just, it doesn't make any sense, you know? So, I mean, things got to change. I don't think it's going to happen, but this is my way of saying, no, I'm done. I'm going to start my own, and I'm not going to do all that. I'm not paying this, and taxes. You know, so the government can keep getting money, and God knows where it goes, because we're in debt over our eyeballs. So this is my reasoning behind all this. I wish I could do more things in being self-reliant, but as I stated, I'm just a little poor guy that I'm working towards and building myself up. You know, as time allows and money allows, I'm getting more self-sufficient. So I just wanted to share this with you all, because so many people, they don't talk about any of this stuff. It's like it's a verbatim thing to talk about, like, you know, government, taxes, cattle, agriculture, blah. No, it's something that's so tied into this stuff, you know. I just wanted to put it out there. I could, if you all want me to talk about it more and go into more details, I can. I'm just trying to keep this video a little shorter. But it's crazy, you know, all these things, that regulations and everything that they put on top of us, and taxation that we have no control about. None. I mean, so many people think we elect these representatives into the state or into Congress, that they're going to represent us. Think about it. During election time, how many of those people make all these promises? I'm not even going to talk about Hillary Clinton, because she's an absolute idiot. Sorry if that offends you people. But Donald Trump is a prime example. Or Obama. How many promises do these people make to get in there? I have never, in my life, I'm 29 years old, I've never voted once, because I've never believed in any of them. In my life of presidents, and looking back and researching other ones, I have never seen one that has kept a promise that is so controversial to make change in this country. They won't do it. They don't want the trouble. They don't want this guy to not pay them. They want to keep all these funds coming into them. They don't want to cut that off and say, no, you're wrong. They don't want to do it. They will not do it, because they're corruptible. You know, that's what money is. It's corruption. It's evil. You know, bottom line. So, I'm going to cut myself off here, because I can keep on talking about this stuff. I hope you all enjoy. If you have any questions, I'm sorry if I offended any of you all. This is just my opinion. If you have any comments or any suggestions or anything, just leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. Thanks.